We're going to demonstrate some joint compression and joint stretch techniques today that are just calming and organizing for children. The muscle joint system is very calming. It's sort of the great arousal regulator of the body. You know, it can bring you down from too high. If you're stressed and your arousal state or your energy level is too high, it can calm you down. It can wake people up from a too low arousal state, sort of a lethargic, groggy arousal state. So any of the things that you're using that we're demonstrating can be used either in the morning to help wake kids up, or in the evening to calm them down, or at stressful periods during the day. The input is always rhythmical because that organizes and helps the nervous system. If it's done quicker and more intensely, then it's alerting, and if it's done slower and more calmly, then of course it's more calming to the child. It also helps to improve muscle tone and body awareness as well. So we're going to start with a little activity called the vacuum cleaner, and it's always fun for kids to have a little name for things and sort of a pretend activity that they're doing while we're doing the activity. And this just provides joint compression and stretch or distraction alternately to the legs and the spine. So Ellie's going to demonstrate that from now on.
Ready? Here we go.
Are you cleaning the floor, buddy?
Here. Any spots for me? Here.
There you
Go
go.
faster, or would you like me to go slower?
Faster.
Faster? Ooh, there must be a spot right there.
And that's how you'd wake a child up in the
Spot
morning.
right there.
Okay, let's go really slow and even.
Whoa.
Here, let me try
Told
to
you
do
to
a little
move.
slower. If I were really going to calm them down at night, I'll just go, there we go. This way, that way, this way, that way. And this is nice too, because there's nice eye contact while you're doing this activity. There you go. Okay, now you can do the bowling ball. And the bowling ball,
We like to play a fun game with the bowling ball, don't we? Are you ready?
Yep.
Ready? 1,
Strike.
2,
Strike.
3,
Strike.
4,
Strike.
5,
Strike.
wow, you're getting all those strikes.
7,
Strike.
8,
Strike.
9,
Strike.
10,
Strike.
11,
Strike.
12.
Wow, you finished the
Strike.
round.
Oh, your bowling ball broke.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay! And you can do it a little slower and just kind of hold it there.
And you have to go, yay!
Yay! And just kind of put it up. You can even alternate. Here, just let me try some. Alternate this. And then we're going to roll you up in the bowling ball.
There you go.
All the way up to here. And back out to here. And then roll you all up again. And back out to here. You can see it's slower and more calming, but however they like it is really important. Okay, the bowling ball puts a child into flexion, and then that puts all the extensor muscles on stretch. The extensor muscles are the ones that get tense when a child is in fight or flight. So it's just really relaxing to have all that stretched out. And you can try it with your significant other at home on yourselves, and it does feel quite nice. So, alrighty. Now we're going to show some things that are just about deep pressure tactile input, and that's just deep pressure to the skin and the body. And that is calming and organizing to children as well. It decreases the child's tendency for sort of hyperactive defensive responses to things, because pressure is just, there's two parts to the touch system, the alerting light touch system, like, I got a bug crawling on me, and then there's the deep pressure aspect of the tactile or touch system that calms a person down and also helps them to just discriminate, and it's good for body awareness or awareness of what they're touching. So we're going to do some simple deep pressure input activities. And so we're going to do the peanut butter sandwich one. And you're wearing brown, so that's perfect. You're going to be the peanut butter. Okay? So you can lay tummy down. There you go. Mom's gonna put we're gonna put the bread on top. Is there a way that he likes this in particular?
Not really. We just
Okay.
kind of.
There you go.
Well, don't we?
Just a little squish.
Squishy.
This provides a generalized pressure over his whole body, but there's no sliding on the skin. So it's good for a child that's more tactily defensive and can't handle the idea of somebody touching them. There you go. You can also kind of coordinate it with breathing a little bit. Okay. You did perfect at that. You just started breathing right with me at the same time. Give me some skin about that.
Awesome.
Okay, now we're going to do one of Noah's favorite ones, which is the steamroller. Remember that one? Okay, do you want to do it or do you want me to?
Who would you like to do it? Do you want Miss Lynn to do it or do you want Mommy to do it?
Okay, all right, because I sing the song, huh?
Yeah.
And you can either pretend that this is a steamroller squishing out the bumpy road, or you can pretend that it's a tube of toothpaste. So we'll start with the steamroller. I got the steamroller blues, roll and squish it. I got the steamroller blues, roll and squish it. I got the steamroller blues, roll and squish it. I got the steamroller blues. Okay, you want to put your arms out straight? We'll do those two. There we go. And it's fairly firm pressure. And the older the child is, the more pressure you can add. And sometimes some kids like really firm pressure, like with most of your weight going on the ball. There you go. So now we're going to pretend you're a tube of toothpaste. Here we go. We're going to squish out all the toothpaste. Oh, it's coming right out your head. Oh, no, now it's coming out your fingertips. And over on the other one. You put your hand flat. There it goes. Nice. Okay, and again, this is touch by an object, which is less threatening than touch skin to skin, and it avoids the rolling or sliding across the skin, which can be aversive for some kids. So these are two sort of easy entry activities for kids that have trouble with deep pressure touch. Now we're going to do a blanket roll, which is, do you want to be a taco or a burrito or a hot dog?
How about a hot dog?
How about a hot dog? Okay, we got to just
This
flip
way.
the other way though.
Yeah.
You're going to go this way.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, put your arms down by your side. Okay, here we go. I'm going to wrap you up in that hot dog bun. There you go. There we go. Rolling them up tight. Get it all nice and straight. There you go. Roll them up. Almost done. Woo, there you are. Oh, you look awesome. You look just like that tasty burrito. I think I'm going to eat you. And then if you're using this activity during the day, just for sort of body awareness and pressure and calming, then you can just kind of go like this. Okay, you ready to come out of your taco? Here we go. Woo.
Roll right out.
There you go. Good job. Okay. The next thing here, let's get the blanket out. The next thing that we'll do, here, let's get the pillow underneath you so you can lay on your tummy. And we'll do the giant feet. Remember doing that one? Do you do that sometimes?
We do giant feet.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and show giant feet.
Here we go.
You guys had a fun
Climb
routine
up
with
the
it.
mountain. Ready? There it goes.
That is one big giant.
I go up and then do you want me to ski back down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's wiggling and controlling his muscles during this, it helps him to accept the sliding touch on his skin, which is a more challenging kind of input. So the static pressure is the easiest of actual hand pressure to accept. And then And when he is moving, he feels in control, and so then he's able to add that.
Get up now.
And this was one of the activities that allowed him to then be able to actually enjoy getting a massage and back rub, which he couldn't tolerate initially. So, okay, bud, can you show people your rubbies?
Do rubbies?
Oh, and sometimes, wait, let me just show one thing. Sometimes the giant likes to just squeeze like that. Squish, squeeze, squish, squeeze, squish, squeeze, squish. Okay, we'll do it to the other side so you're not lopsided. Squish, squeeze, squish, squeeze, squish, squeeze, squish. Let me see skin. Nice work. Okay, now we're going to have Kelly demonstrate the massage. You call them rubbies, right?
Rubbies.
Call them rubbies?
Yep.
Okay. Which were not tolerated initially, but now he does very well with those.
Sweet. You want me to start on your legs? You want to do legs first?
And do you like either oil or baby powder when you do yours?
What do you think? Do you want to have either one today?
You okay with that? Okay.
Okay.
With kids, I always use coconut oil or almond oil or at least some sort of a vegetable oil so I'm not putting any petroleum-based stuff on their skin. How's that feel?
Good. You're good?
Can I work on your back a little bit while your mom does your legs? Oh, thanks, bud. Okay, so I'm going to get it on my hand and get it nice and warm. And then use really even, long strokes like that. So flat hand, firm pressure, alternating strokes. There you go. In fact, can we have you lay on your tummy so I can do this while you're nice and steady? That is awesome. Man, it's so relaxing. Sometimes kids just fall asleep when we do this. There you go. And if you're doing this for really trying to decrease defensiveness, you can do this kind of a massage for about 5 minutes and then have the child get up and do some jumping jacks immediately following that. And that becomes sort of a variation on, thanks bud, that was awesome, a variation on a program that's informally known as the brushing program, which should never be done outside of the direct supervision of an occupational therapist. And so this program is something that parents can do on their own as long as the pressure is firm and slow and alternating so there's not on-off. It sort of provides some of the input in a scaled down way that brushing program does. And then the jumping jacks that the child does immediately following provide some of the input that the joint compression technique that's part of that standard brushing, or actually called the TheraPressure program. I have seen a video on YouTube of a mom doing a TheraPressure program, and she's doing it entirely wrong. And if it's done incorrectly, it can be harmful to kids. So that's why I strongly encourage you, if you're not having an OT directly supervise that, to not do that protocol. But you can do this, where it's 5 minutes of firm, deep pressure massage, immediately followed by 20 jumping jacks. And you can do that numerous times throughout the day to begin to keep the child's nervous system calmer. And it's sort of like a 2 degrees kind of a change thing. It just gets them a little bit calmer. The input lasts, has a subtle effect for about 2 hours. And so then you just try to keep them on that calmer track, and it begins to change how their brain processes sensory information. So I had a client doing this. She was actually a phone coaching client, and so I set her up to do that with her son. She lived in another state. Set her up to do that, and she did that 5 minutes of deep pressure massage. He immediately did jumping jacks afterwards, and they did that every 2 hours for several weeks, and it just began to calm him down to the point where his siblings said, God, he's not picking fights so much anymore. What happened? So it can really change a kid's nervous system. And Kelly's probably
We have experienced the same.
Yep. That as these sensory input and sensory motor activities have been provided for Noah, it's calmed him down a lot and just made it a lot easier for him to have a great day. So that's it.